What's up, Mixed Reactions? It is Tuesday, February 24th, 2025. I'm with Justin and Casey. How's it going today, Casey?
Doing well. I think you said it's February 24th. It's actually February 25th. And before we get into the show, due to it being that date, I would just like to say a happy birthday to my wife. It is her 26th birthday today.
Happy birthday to Chelsea Barrett.
We just got back from Olive Garden. I took her out for a birthday dinner.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Well done, sir.
Well, happy birthday to her. How's everything going over there, Justin?
Had a minor health scare the other night, but I'm recovering from that. But tax return came in, and I got my wife a new whip. So she came home with the 2018 Hyundai Tucson.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother.
Amen. Well, that is it's that season. And what other season it is?
Well, how's everything on your end first?
Oh, me.
Oh yeah, you, the one who was asking the question at first.
Yeah. How's everything on? How you doing?
Everything is good, man. Sports wise, optimistic Ducks, man. They're only 5 points out of the wild card spot currently. Hopefully we can make some noise there. Other than that, everything is just it's been going pretty good, but I'm just ready to get started. We're about ready for March Madness time. Playoff race is gonna heat up, and I know you guys have some NBA topics you want to talk about because there's gonna be a lot that's gonna change between now and when the playoffs start, and things could flip a little bit. So what do you go ahead and say you lead us off, Casey? Because I know there's a few things about the NBA you want to talk about.
Oh, there most certainly is. The first thing that I want to say now, as a Celtics fan, we talked about this last week, guys, and it reigns even more true now. The one team that I absolutely fear in the West is the Los Angeles Lakers. Did you see the performance they put on the Denver Nuggets this past Saturday? Before Saturday, the Nuggets had beaten the Lakers the last 14 out of 15 times. This new look Laker team with Luka leading the point is scary.
And they put on a clinic.
Yeah, they put on an absolute clinic. Luka dropped a 30-piece. LeBron dropped 29. I think LeBron over his last 10 games is averaging 29, 9 to 9. He's just on a different level right now. But for the first time in his career, LeBron James is actually going to get to play off ball. He's going to get to play second fiddle. Even when it came to Kyrie, you got to think Kyrie was basically relegated to a shooting guard when he was playing in Cleveland. And that's not Kyrie's game. But LeBron was so elite and so ahead of Kyrie, you couldn't relegate LeBron James to being off ball. This is the first time where truly the baton, I feel, is going to be passed. And it's the first time where LeBron isn't definitively the best player on the team. It's Luka right now. Luka's in the prime of his career. He's 25 years old, entering his prime. LeBron, as great as he is no longer in his prime. He can still give you absolutely brilliant stretches, but this is going to save him for late in quarters, late in games, late in series. And I think this tandem is a scary tandem. And as a Celtics fan, if we were to meet them in the finals, I would have my concerns.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that the rest will not cause rust on LeBron. You give him what were his minutes the other night? Like maybe 36?
I think it was lower. It might have been like 32, 33, something like that.
But you're not having, unlike his years in Cleveland and Miami, and early years in LA, you're not having to rely on him to put in 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Where he was only taking a short, like 1 minute, 2 minute stop.
Yeah. And they were not pretty sits either, too, because those time frames when, especially in his Cleveland years, like late Cleveland years, especially, the 2017, 2018, during those particular seasons, they would have a 5-point lead. He'd go out and sit for 2 minutes. He'd come back. They'd be down 7 within that 2 minute time. There were playoff series where it was game 6, game 7. He played the full 48 minutes and did not sit once. that's not going to be needed with Luka. I think this is a very scary Lakers team, and I think LeBron is going to embrace the role. I'm not going to say as Robin because LeBron James will never be
He's never be Robin. No.
no, but he will be the second scoring primary option compared to Luka. Luka's going to be the main decision maker and the main distributor, and I think that's the best fit for this team. And I think they're very scary.
I think the biggest credit for that goes to JJ Redick to be able to manage that. And I mean, I had in his career, and as a analyst, I had my biases, my gripes about JJ Redick, and I honestly wasn't sure how he was going to pan out as a coach, but he's checking all the right boxes at this point.
Yeah, if I had to give my vote right now, he'd get my vote for Coach of the Year. What say you, Ian? What do you think about this whole Luka getting the baton from LeBron for the Lakers?
Yeah, well, I think you said it perfectly. You said he's never gonna be Robin. It's more Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy than it is Batman and Robin. But yeah, it's great he's able to play off the ball. He only played 33 minutes the other night. They crushed Dallas, and they're not gonna get the 1 seed. That shit is over with. Realistically,
at this point, they don't need to.
Yeah,
the way they're playing, they don't need to.
They don't. They'll get home court through the first round, maybe the first 2 rounds, and then they'll end up. I mean, they look better than any team in the NBA right now to me. I mean, just all around, and then you have another element with Luka coming in, and they've just been crushing people. Like they haven't. They were good before the trade, and they've taken a step up, which is crazy. And they've definitely made the next step. There's been so many questions around the Lakers, really the last 3 years. I mean, they had the bubble year. They've had good years, but I mean, this is the first year where they've really looked like unstoppable. Granted, they're going to have to do it without AD because I felt like AD was a large part of why. I mean, there was times where they were great defensively.
But here's the thing with that though. That was my concern with the Luka trade is they were sacrificing defense for offense.
Me too.
They can still defend. They're able to defend more than I expected by a long shot.
Mm.
Yeah, over the last month, they're the number 1 rated defensive team in the NBA.
Did anyone see that coming? After you ship away AD, I sure as heck didn't.
No, and I don't know if you guys know this. Lakers and Mavericks play each other tonight in LA. Obviously, AD's not playing, but Luka's going to be playing. And
he's going to drop a hammer on him.
I don't know if this is the type of game. Like, obviously, I know Luka in his soul is going to want to hammer them. But I think LeBron and JJ Redick, especially LeBron, may try to reel in the reins a little bit and be like, listen, I understand what you're going through. I understand the emotions of this game, but we just need to continue to grow as an offense and get the W. This isn't the game where you need to score 60 and then we end up taking an L because we're focused on trying to get you the ball too much. Like this is about seeding. We need to continue to grow as a team and win the game. I can absolutely see Luka with a 30-point triple-double in the Lakers winning. But I don't want to see Luka taking 50 shots tonight either.
That's fair. I mean, I could see him dropping 30, 35 points and at least a double-double, but he absolutely agree. You don't want to play into the emotions because that will eventually backfire, and it's not worth, again, for what they're needing to accomplish this year, it's not worth feeding into that emotion. Feed off of it, but don't feed into it.
No, because with this trade and the way that they've been playing, the Lakers are now one of those teams that it's almost championship or bust, especially when you have a Luka and a LeBron. I don't foresee any other successful outcome for the Lakers other than a championship this season. But I will say this, Ian, you said something earlier in your soliloquy that the Lakers look like the best team in basketball right now. I slightly disagree. I give the edge to Boston right now still. Especially, I don't know if you guys saw, they put an absolute another rocking beatdown on the Knicks on Sunday. Yes, the Knicks had their little run late in the third, but Boston was like, okay, you made your little run. You cut it to 4 after you were down 27, and then Boston won by 17, I think it was. I really think right now Boston has kicked it up to another level. They kicked it back into playoff mode. They kicked it back into championship level basketball, and they have been crushing teams. Now, I say that, and they're only up 1 against Toronto right now, but I don't think this means too much. I'm not worried about this game. Remember last week, boys, I kept messing up my weeks. This is the week where I am locked in. They have, Cleveland on Friday and Denver on Sunday. I think I'm calling it now. They're going to win both games by double digits.
Both?
Both. I think they're that locked in. They're going to win both games by double digits.
I could see the Denver game by doubles. The Cleveland, I don't know.
Just my opinion. I think they got it.
That's big. I'm not saying you're wrong or you're gonna be wrong, but that's one I would be hard. It'd be hard pressed for me to put money on that one.
And going back to and like the Lakers, going back to them just being the best team. Boston, man, I don't really pay any. I don't put any stock to anything that happens with Boston in the regular season at this point. They've been to the playoffs. That whole team has been there. It does worry me a little bit if they have to go on the road to Cleveland. I know KC, you do overreact. You do the ins and outs, the details. I mean, you watch every single game beginning to end, but I just don't put any stock in what happens with Boston during the regular season. Luka, one of his biggest thing was being a liability defensively, and he came out and had 4 steals last game. So they haven't gotten worse defensively. I mean, AD when he's healthy. I mean,
If he's healthy.
That's like when saying when Mike Tyson wasn't having mental health issues, he was great. He was amazing. But more often than not, he was in some shit. So I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, the great thing is the Eastern and the Western Conference are two different. They're only going to play each other if they can make it through their conferences. So you have a team at that point. If the Lakers have made it through and the Celtics have made it through, I don't really know. But I mean, honestly, I think the Celtics just match up better. I think their backcourt defense, it would make it hard for the Lakers. I really don't see Cleveland beating them. And I see Cleveland really pushing them to the brink, especially with how good they are. But I don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't see anybody beating Boston in the East.
Yeah, I would take the Celtics in 6 in that one. You said you have an issue with, Boston going to Cleveland on the road. I know what you mean because you never want to go into a top seeded environment in a game 7 on the road. I understand that. That makes total sense. But Boston has the best road record in basketball, and I think that's only going to continue to trend in the playoffs. I don't think that a Game 7 on the road in Cleveland is going to phase them, if that makes sense. I don't think they're going to go into the game like a deer in headlights, wide-eyed. I think they'll be locked in and ready to go.
Joe Mazzulla is a good coach, man. Like, we all had our doubts about him, and then looking back now, like, he's probably I think he's top 3 coach in the NBA. Like, he's just done a great job with all those. Oh, what'd you say? Sorry.
Joe Cool Mazzulla.
Yeah.
I like him. I remember when he was playing in West Virginia, his team beat John Wall's Kentucky team in the Elite 8. But how bad it's going to be interesting. College basketball is coming down to the wire. See, for me, college basketball, man, there's just so many alternatives the guys play in college. Like Cooper Flagg, that dude he's ridiculous, bro.
He's different. He is on a different level. Before we get into anything with college, I know Justin kind of wanted to touch on the downfall of the Knicks, and I know you're not a Knicks fan, but
I'm not.
I know you also kind of wanted to breach on it. So, what are your thoughts on the Knicks? What have you been seeing with them that makes you have, let's just say, concerns?
I think we can all agree they're not just based on record, but based on talent on the squad. They're the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think it's even close to say they're the 3rd. But the difference between 1, 2, and then 3 is stratospheric.
Yeah, I would say the gap between 1 and 2 and 3 is as big as a gap it is between 3 and 7.
No, I'd say 3 and 11. It's that big of a difference.
Okay.
The Knicks have lost every single game to the Cavs, Celtics, Thunder, and I believe they've also lost every game to the Nuggets as well this year.
Yeah, they struggle against the higher end teams for sure. That's been a big issue. And you got to think they're ranked, 29th or 30th in overall defense. Mitchell Robinson can't seem to stay in the court. Josh Hart's having issues staying on the court. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from the Knicks at all. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns is a very gifted offensive center, but you're never going to sit here and say, Karl Anthony Towns is going to lock up your big. That's not going to happen. So I agree with you, Justin. I think the Knicks could be a sneaky first-round exit depending on who their matchup is.
Well, so if the playoffs were to start today, the Knicks would be playing the Pistons. I don't think the Knicks get past the young Pistons team. I
No, I'd take the
honestly,
Pistons. I would take the Pistons in that series. I'd take them in 5 at
I
this
always have
point.
I always have so much faith in the Knicks, man. But like you said, Mitchell Robinson can't stay on the court, and I can't put them over the Celtics, man. Like I'm always waiting for Carl Anthony Towns to take the next step. I'm just always waiting, and
Never does.
it's not gonna happen. It's not by this point. So, um, let me get at this point. The Celtics in the first round will be playing Magic. It's like they'd be playing the Celtics in the second round with Boston having the home court advantage, and Boston is, I mean, they're 18-10 at home, but Knicks aren't winning 4 games against the Celtics in 7 game series. Cavaliers might, like, if they catch Boston slipping. Like, I don't think Boston could play their B+ game and beat Cleveland. They have to play at least an A game
Yes,
or an
100%.
A- game, because
100%.
Oh,
I think
agreed. Agreed.
I definitely do not think they could bring their B game and beat the Cavs. No shot. No. Cleveland is a very good team. Very, very good. But I think their lack of depth is gonna what subdues them in the playoffs. I think the Celtics could beat them. I don't want to say 5 because that seems too cocky, but I'd say
6.
Celtics in 6 over Cleveland.
for me, the reason that I don't, I'm not downing Boston is because they seem to have mastered the pace. It doesn't seem like there's a team that's a bad matchup for them because in reality, they hound you on the perimeter when Porzingis is healthy. I mean, he's a matchup nightmare. Tatum can score at will. Brown can score at will. Like, and everybody can fucking shoot. I mean, the best shooting team in the league.
Their
So
matchup, their bad matchup was Milwaukee when they had Giannis, Bobby Porter, and Chris Middleton
and Drew Holiday running point.
and Drew Holiday. Mhm.
Mhm.
Now that that's been dismantled, not taking any away from Dame or Giannis, but now that trio is dismantled,
Yeah.
no chance.
Here's why a Milwaukee series would still give me a little bit of the yips.
Yes.
It's because of you never want to go into a game 7 when the opposing team has the best player on the floor. Like Jason Tatum's,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, but let's not kid ourselves. Giannis would be the best player in that series and would be the best player on the floor in the game 7. No question about it. That's the stuff that gives me, a pause, if you will, because I'm always reluctant in those series. Those series always give me a headache every single time.
To quote Michael Scott, you're not superstitious about it, but you're a little stitious.
Little stitches. Exactly.
One more thing I wanted to touch on and ask you guys about at Eastern Conference NBA. Is it time for Joel Embiid to hang him up?
No. Absolutely not. I think it's time for Joel Embiid to reflect, take a step back, and realize he cannot be a team's number 1 option for a full 82 games if they want to win a championship. But to hang him up, no, he's too talented.
This is going to be his 5th knee surgery in almost as many years.
Bro, I literally remember walking like to the store last year, looking at my phone, and you guys texted me the exact same thing. And then I got the news on my phone like what was it recently about, and I just like, dude, I literally remember us talking about this exact same. Like, it's crazy, man. And there was one point where, and I know Jokic is better offense. I know he's a better passer, but God, man, like Embiid is just so great. Like I thought it was just him and Jokic 1-2, but we know who the best center is in the NBA. He can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I mean,
Wimby, he's going to be special.
To be fair, Jokic just isn't the best center in the NBA. He's the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Put it this way, for me, I would trust AD's health over Embiid right now. And AD
Me
can't stay
too.
on the court either.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
agree with
He
you.
got hurt again too.
AD's injuries, although are frequent, are minor. Anytime Embiid gets hurt, he misses 2 months or the full season. Now, in terms of this season, Justin, it's time for Embiid to shut it down. No question. This season is not going anywhere for the Sixers, and I fucking love that, by the way. But it's time for Embiid to sit down for the rest of the season. I think what they truly need to do, Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I think this would be the absolute best thing for Philly.
Trade him.
Trade Paul George to Atlanta for Trae Young and a second round pick. The reason I say that,
Atlanta ain't
They
giving
won't
that
do.
shit up.
They're not going to do that. Philly won't do it because they have Tyrese Maxey.
move Maxey to the 2. They need somebody. First of all, Trae Young is getting better and better as a decision maker. He's a top 5 3-point shooter in the league. You mix him with somebody with the abilities of a Maxey who's a slasher, and Embiid is somebody who can play big in the post. If they get an elite outside scorer who's a good decision maker, I think that's going to be the true top-notch version of Philadelphia.
You talk about Swiss cheese on the perimeter defense, though. Like they need at least some type of resistance out there. I mean,
he's not terrible. He's not a terrible.
No, but Trae Young is.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was referring to with Trae Young.
Trae Young is, yes, but just like with the Celtics did with Isaiah Thomas, you can hide him in certain areas where it's not going to be too much of a defactor.
Trae Young's a great player. I love him. I just don't think he's a good fit for Philly.
Not with Philly, no.
That would leave their best player. Well, I mean Embiid, but he's hurt.
Offensively, he's a great fit.
That's fair, especially with him and Maxey back there in the backcourt. But that's just, absolutely. And I know
he's a great slasher. He has a phenomenal drive to the cup. He's a decent but not great shooter, but he is athletic, has moves around the rim, and he can drive. He's a great slasher for that particular style of offense. You have Embiid sitting to the wing, to the post, or in the paint, and then you have Trae Young who can hit shots. I think it would be a great setup offensively. Almost, I'm not going to say like a triangle offense like they ran in LA, but a similar style of that offense for them 3 running the main point. I think it would be a very good fit for him. I agree with you about the Swiss cheese defensively, but I think it's a great fit for him, especially with the way that we've seen Paul George almost, I don't want to say decay on the basketball court, but he's nowhere near the same player. I think Atlanta would do it if, say scratch the second round pick. If you threw in a first round pick and Paul George for Trae Young, I think Atlanta might take the call.
I would actually, if I were Philly, I'd call Sacramento about DeMar DeRozan.
I wouldn't mind that, but are you talking about giving up Paul George?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I wouldn't do that is because Philly, DeMar DeRozan, first of all, great mid-range shooter, terrible three-point shooter. The way that the NBA game is evolving and changing so rapidly, you need three-point shooters almost at every position.
He's all right.
That's fair. I'm just saying, I don't think Atlanta would take the call unless you're throwing like everything at them, because Atlanta basically threw away their future with what they unloaded. Aside from Trae Young, obviously.
Right, but I think what we're going to see in these playoffs potentially is going to be what Atlanta is going to realize, and that they've hit their ceiling with Trae Young, though, too. Eventually,
they hit their ceiling 2 years ago.
Yeah, but sometimes, especially with a star player, it takes them a little bit longer to realize it. I think that it's a good fit for everybody, honestly. Paul George is impressive.
It's not a bad fit for either team. Again, like you were saying, you need to figure out a way to hide Trae Young's defensive liabilities. But until Atlanta realizes what they have, what they don't have, they're not going to even take the call.
That's fair. I'm not saying they would take the call. I'm not saying, I have insider information that this is going to happen by any stretch. But I think I think it's the best outcome for Philadelphia, because Paul George clearly hasn't worked. It's just not going to be a thing. And I think with Young, Maxey, and Embiid, I could truly see them taking, I'm not saying the next leaps and bounds better, but I feel they'd take a step up offensively.
Yeah, and one thing too, because I know there was some football you guys wanted to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, the baseball season's upon us, and I've been taking in so much baseball recently. Justin, the Red Sox are fucking banged up, man. Their pitching staff, goddamn, Cutter Crawford, Giolito, Aroldis Chapman, But yeah, you guys have a bunch of guys just banged up.
It's too early to worry about it. It's only spring training. Way too early to worry about it.
Their
Chapman,
new
am I
boy hit a
tripping?
home run.
That's
Their
just
new
crazy.
boy hit a home run in his first at bat.
Alex Bregman, second pitch, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have Chapman listed as injured anymore. Okay, but yeah, you guys are still pretty banged up. We're once again pretty much picked to finish dead last in the division by most experts. So
You're lucky you're not picked dead last to finish the entire league.
yeah, it's gonna be a rough next couple of years. Otani's pitching, you guys said this year, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
he is.
That's cool. That motherfucker. His bookie over there putting in $700,000 no run first inning parlays and shit. Like, crazy. Or not his bookie. His was it assistant?
His translator.
So, you guys said you want to discuss a little football. Justin, I
Yeah.
like the idea here, kind of dark horse from each division. Your idea, my friend, let's start with you. I'm going to throw out a random division if you don't mind, and I want you to give me the dark horse of that division, if that's cool.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. And again, by dark horse, what I was meaning in our chat internal chat was not necessarily a team you think is going to make the playoffs, but most improved in the division.
Let's start you off with the NFC South.
NFC South. I'm going to say the Falcons. I think the Falcons. I think they're going to move away from Kyle Pitts, as they should. But Michael Penix is coming to his own. Bijan Robinson's still prime time, game time, absolutely. And Darnell Mooney was great for them this year. They ran into an injury bug, and obviously you've got Kirk Cousins off your back. You don't have that monkey to worry about.
Mm.
Now, again, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to dethrone anybody in that division, but I think they'll be the most improved on paper and in record overall.
Fair enough. Ian, let's kick it to you and go AFC North.
I mean, can we call the Bengals a dark horse? I don't think they're a dark horse.
Yeah,
I don't think they are. We all know that they're
most improved. Most improved. That's what we're looking at. Not necessarily a dark horse to win the division, not necessarily a dark horse to make the playoffs, but most improved in each division.
Okay. AFC North, Bengals.
I agree with you on that one, Ian, if they stay healthy, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If they pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, then yes, agreed.
Now, what's your reasoning behind that? Is it just simply because if they stay healthy, they have Joe Burrow? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we saw what they did down the stretch of the season. It just wasn't enough. It's a tough division, man. I mean, you lose a couple games out the gate, you get banged up, you lose a couple more games. It's really gonna be tough to call. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's still the only. Well, I mean, prior, I guess, to the Super Bowl, he's still the only active quarterback that's, that's being Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Obviously, Jalen Hurts just did it in the Super Bowl.
Brady. Brady.
Oh, no, active. Sorry. Yeah, Brady definitely did it. But yeah, I got the Bengals. I just think, like I said, man, it's gonna be a tough division. But I still think there's some question marks surrounding Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I think they're strong still. And then we're not gonna talk about the Browns here.
All right, Casey, I'll throw one at you. AFC East.
AFC East. See, this is where it's a tough one, right? Because there's only one team that's actually good in that division, and that's the Bills. So it's almost like the flip side to Ian's question with the North, where there's three good teams. In this division, there's only one. So it depends on how you want to look at it. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I'm going to say New England. And the reason I'm going to say New England, it's very dependent on Drake May's progression. Now, Justin, you and I both agree he had a very solid rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
This cannot be Drake May's ceiling. He needs, I'm not going to say massive improvement from last year, but he needs to be noticeably better than he was a season ago. They need to get playmakers around them. I think that with Vrabel as their head coach, I think their defense is going to return to form. I think that they are going to get a playmaker or two in the draft. And I truly do believe they are going to go ahead and make, I'm not going to say a wild card run. I don't think they're there yet, but I could see them sitting around 7-10, 8-9 by the season's end. And I think that's a mass improvement from where they were a season ago.
I would agree, but I'm going to give you a reason why I think, and it's got a lot of it has to do with what you said. You need Drake to not have a sophomore slump.
No, Justin, it's not that. It's not as no.
He can't have a sophomore. He cannot have a sophomore slump. Is my point. He can't.
No, but he has to be better. Like he can't even be the where he was last year.
Agreed. He's got to elevate over his rookie. I agree, but I'm going to give you two work. You have Alex Van Pelt, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah,
that can only improve in terms of who you have in your ear.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, sorry. If you don't mind, if I just take a swing at it real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
For me, the AFC East, and I was thinking Patriots. I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be good. I think they're actually going to push for a wild card spot. Whether they get it, I don't know. But I think Miami is actually going to be more improved. The Bills, I don't even think they can really fall under a dark horse because they're so damn good.
No, you can't.
And then the Jets, they're going to go back to being a dumpster fire. But I got Miami because I really think I think they're. I mean, I've heard about rumors about Tyreek coming back to Kansas City, but.
See, the reason I didn't say Miami is I don't think if say the gods came down from heaven, right? And like Tua's going to be healthy all season. I'd go with Miami because I think they'd push. I think they'd make the wild card. So, but I don't think there's any chance Tua's going to stay healthy all season at all.
And that's why I wouldn't say Miami because I can't trust Tua's health, and I don't trust Miami's defense.
No, we all know if Tua's healthy in home games through September, October. They're going to be a high-flying offense. They're going to put up a lot of points. They're going to embarrass a couple bad teams, and everyone's going to get tricked by the Dolphins like it happens every year.
They're going to get to the fucking call. I mean, to be fair, though, bro, it was like -2 degrees out there.
Tua can't play in the cold. He freezes, quite literally.
Terrible. I mean, they could.
Quite literally.
Tyreek, if I remember correctly, he didn't even do much because they couldn't even get him the damn ball. Like, they tried a couple times, but they just couldn't do it because they couldn't get him the ball. And Kansas City's defense that year, man, was just.
Raheem Mostert's been released. He's not with them anymore. They're going to go with H.A. H.A.'s a great back. Don't get me wrong. I picked him up in my fantasy, but he's not a bell cow. No. But not even close. But yeah.
So let's do one more division apiece if you guys are down for that.
Yep, we're good.
Justin, let's kick it to you again. And I'm going to give you the NFC East this time.
NFC East. If it weren't for the fact the Commanders made the run that they had, I would have said the Commanders. So it's going to be hard to live for that.
Yeah, you can't really say a team that made the NFC Championship game. So I get that. Yeah.
So Giants or Cowboys? Or Eagles?
Well, speaking of the Eagles, the tush push is now potentially being banned. Potentially.
Yeah, I see that.
I and the Packers were the ones who said we didn't say anything about it. Then the owner comes back and says, "Yeah, we're the ones who said we're trying to ban it." But I'm going to say the Giants because they're going to invest in a quarterback, and they're going to have to, and they're going to have Malik Neighbors who's still there. And granted, he was not happy with his rookie season, obviously, and who would be with what they had going on there?
It was ugly.
It was bad, but they can only go up from here. And I think Dallas's big issue was health last year. That was their major downfall. That and their own hubris, obviously. That's been their downfall for the last 25 years. But I think the Giants will be the most improved. And again, not sure how it's going to reflect in the standings, only because you're going to be with a rookie quarterback, maybe Shedeur Sanders, maybe Cam Ward, depending what the Titans do.
But say Dallas stays healthy, though, then what?
Well, again, then but then be Dallas what we expected them to be when they're on paper. So it wouldn't be really. It's like, oh, we didn't expect this to potentially happen. So I'm gonna say the Giants.
That's fair. I mean, I'm gonna try to go about this as non-biasedly as I can. Okay, I do believe it's going to be Dallas as the most improved in that division. Frankly, what we said kind of in the beginning, can't really be most improved if you're the Super Bowl team, and you can't really be most improved unless you go out and win the Super Bowl, of course, which I don't think the Commanders are going to do. That you're going to be the most improved in that division. So Ian's right; it's between the Giants and the Cowboys. And I'd say outside of the Jets, the Giants are the biggest dumpster fire in the NFL. And so
Cleveland?
it's hard. I'd say the Giants more so than Cleveland.
Okay. Fair enough.
This is the reason that I feel that too. This is all, health dependency and draft dependent as well. I feel like if Dallas gets a running game, drafting Ashton Genty, I think is going to be a huge impact. Obviously, the loss of Zach Martin, the Hall of Fame, first ballot gold
that was
jacket.
wild when I saw
Gonna be
that.
a big loss. Big loss.
So he had more All-Pro selections than he did holding penalties in his career.
Damn.
He had 7 All-Pros, and he only had 6 holding penalties his whole career.
Damn.
He's one of the top 5 right guards in the history of the league. And it's a shame that his career had to go out like it did. His injuries kept piling up. I get it. Anyways, I think it's going to be Dallas because I'm praying that Dak stays healthy the whole season. That's not very likely, but I hope that that's the case. I think they're going to get a playmaker on the outside. I think they're going to get Ashton Genty. And I think we're going to see a reform almost back to the, I don't want to say 20, I'm not going to say the exact same as 2016, where it was run heavy with Zeke. That's going to be the Ashton Genty role. But I think it's going to be very similar to that, where Dallas is going to turn back into a power-style football team. And I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Dak. And not to mention, since they finished in third, they are now going to be playing a third-place schedule throughout the entire league as well.
This is true.
And so I feel that they're going to have a slightly easier schedule than they've had the past 2 seasons. And I feel it's going to be reflective on their record. I don't think that they're going to be better than Philadelphia, but I do think they're going to have a rebound season where they finish second in the division. And Mr. Blackwell, you have your hand raised. What do you got?
Hey, I'm sorry. That was a what the fuck is a third place schedule? I didn't know that was a thing. Lower hand.
Yeah. So I'm surprised you didn't know that. So when you finish first, right, you match up with the other first place teams outside of your division. Same thing with the second place, third place.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking serious? I never knew that. That's why we got absolutely train wrecked the year after we won the fucking Super Bowl.
Did you play the first place schedule? Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that a lot of teams traditionally after they win the Super Bowl have really. I didn't know that.
How is that? Because the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl and they were garbage, and they still had the hardest strength of schedule in the entire league.
What was your guys' non-conference or non-division opponents?
Yeah, because it's against your non-division, right? And then you know how you're scheduled to play a division in that course of the year, right?
Right.
So I don't remember what division you guys played. Do you remember?
We had the AFC South and the NFC's
West, because didn't you guys play the Seahawks at some point?
The NFC West, yeah.
And the Rams, and the Cardinals, and the Niners,
Seahawks,
yeah.
And the Seahawks.
Right.
We had the NFC West.
You played that full division, right? So that portion of it doesn't matter. I'm talking about when you go into after the division, after your conference division, the separate conference division that you play, those remaining 5 games. What is it? Because there's 17 games.
I suppose because we had the Bengals first for week 1. Then
you play.
Yeah, I think that lines up actually. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, yeah, it was still a god awful schedule. It was just bad. Everywhere on paper, it was bad.
Yeah, it's not always going to line up perfectly, but no, I mean as far as like when you're in the third place, you are going to play the third place team in that division as far as a non-scheduled sanctioned game already. As far as like your conference, your division, the conference outside of your division. So that other than that, but yeah. So Dallas this year is going to have an easier schedule. I like that. We play the AFC West this year, though. The NFC East does. So that means we got the Chargers.
AFC West. Who's your most improved?
It's got to be the Chargers.
Man, I'm just waiting for them to take the next step. They never do. They need another receiver. They have McConkey. I thought Johnston was going to be a way better pro. Granted, he's still young. I mean, yeah, Palmer. I mean, is Palmer going to like? I don't know, man. I'm not ready to. But the Raiders have no quarterback, so. I mean, Denver.
I was going to say Denver.
I don't know, man. They did pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say take a step back, but really improve upon last year. Like, they made the playoffs.
I think they could.
That's going to be very Bo Nix dependent. If Bo Nix has a very, I'm not saying he has sophomore slump written on all over him, but I'm not sure he's going to take that next leap the way that I'm confident Jaden Daniels and Drake May are going to do.
Well, if there's anybody that doesn't have time to have a sophomore slump, it's a quarterback that's what, 26, 27? I think okay, here we go. I'm looking at the home of the Rams. So 2025, the away opponents. So it looks like we're gonna be playing NFC South.
What did you guys finish in your division?
First, we won the division.
Okay.
So yeah, we have the my bad. Okay, right. We have the Eagles on the road. We have Baltimore on the road. The Lions at home, and
division winner.
Sure the fuck enough, Tampa Bay.
Division winner. See, you guys have a first place schedule.
All right, let me look at the Patriots.
We have the Steelers at home. We have the Steelers at home because they weren't the first. They weren't the last place team.
Well, no, because I'm looking at it, so it's not every. So, like, for example, we play the Jaguars, and they were, I don't fucking know. So I think not all of them are, but we play all four.
Division winners.
Yeah,
we play 4 division winners. Oh, no, we play the Texans too.
Go to the Patriots schedule.
Has the schedule actually been released, or is it just the opponents that have been released?
Yeah, their opponents. My apologies. Go to the Patriots' opponents. And
I know we have Pittsburgh. But you have
the whole North.
What's that?
Do you play the entire AFC North?
I'm checking that right now, actually.
Oh, I see how they do it. So if we have to play, if we play multiple teams from the same division, we're also going to play the best team. And if we only play that division once, we're going to play their best team.
Yes, thank you. That's
because we got first place.
Okay. Let me check.
I never fucking knew that. That makes, like I said, that makes sense. Why we got absolutely not railroaded. Why we got absolutely destroyed the year after. Like, we couldn't get a break. Tom Brady led that comeback on us regular season. It don't matter. We got his bitch ass in the playoffs. You know, that game almost meant more to me than the Super Bowl win. I swear to God, man, that meant torch my childhood, bro.
Celtics up 12 now.
Oh shit! Who are they playing?
Toronto.
These announcers are so immature with these Grady Dick references, bro. There's been like 5 or 6 times where the announcer said some out of pocket shit.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, they're just doing the game, but some of them, come on, man. Raptors are fucking trash, bro. They're absolutely terrible. But we'll see, bro. I mean, I'm excited about our young defense. I really am. I think we have some.
Jared Verse is a star on the rise. You absolutely should be. Jared Verse is a star on the rise for sure.
Star, bro.
Absolutely, no question. Huge star on the rise. I have a lot of faith in this Rams team going forward. I'm not liking that they are tinkering with the idea of trading Matt Stafford.
I mean, I'm not really the hugest fan of it, but I mean, how many more years are we going to get out of Stafford realistically? We're not getting 2 more good years.
Here's my thing, especially with the idea that this floating around that they're going to trade him back to Detroit for Jared Goff.
Yeah, no. To answer your question, we do play a lot of bottom feeders. We do have the entire AFC North and the entire NFC South.
Yeah. But other than that, opponents.
But we do have the Giants and the Raiders, who are both last place team, and obviously the entire NFC South and the entire AFC North. So you have the last place teams there. Okay, makes sense.
If Jared Goff goes back to the,
I'm surprised you guys didn't know that.
I didn't know that's how it worked. So I'll be the first to say I was wrong. Didn't know that. Okay.
I'm not gonna be the first to say I was wrong. I knew that the whole time. Imagine if Matthew Stafford went back to Detroit and won them a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl? That would be crazy.
That'd be you talk about Cinderella, bro. I've never seen a team that's
the prodigal son returns.
Yeah, whose team wasn't even in the game, bro. Like Lions fans were Rams fans that day. Like they were rooting hard. Like we suck. We're never gonna be in the fucking Super Bowl. So let's just hope that our guy wins it. And sure enough, and we won it at home. But of course, Tom Brady had to become the first person to ever win it at his home stadium.
Yeah, Tom Brady sits to pee. So, do you guys think that the Lions blew their best opportunity last season?
Yeah. Well, their injury bug blew their opportunity.
No, of course, yeah, but look at all the coordinators and coaches that they've lost. They lost Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson. Those guys took their undergrads with them. Those people are gone now. I don't think don't get me wrong. I think the Lions are going to be good next year. More than likely the favorites out of the North. I don't see them being the number one seed, winning 14 games next year.
That's a
no.
That's a good one.
I think they're a 12-game winning team, 12 to 13 games.
Yeah.
They're not going to be in the run for the number one overall. I don't think.
I think this is Jared Goff's last chance to win it all with the Lions. Obviously, if he plays well, he'll earn another position somewhere else. But I think if they're one and done in the playoffs again, I think Dan Campbell is going to start looking elsewhere for a quarterback.
Oh, go ahead, Justin. Sorry, I didn't see you.
I would say so I still, in terms of most improved for the NFC North, I'm going to probably say it's got to be the Chicago Bears.
It's got to be Chicago. It's got to be.
There's no way it's not with all that talent.
Well, all that talent was there last year. They didn't do jack.
Coaching.
But it's a year later now. You know what I mean? Like Caleb Williams is going to have that step up. I think Williams I think he's going to show that he's the best quarterback in the draft next year. That he was the best quarterback.
He has to. Otherwise, he's going to be looked at as another what?
Look, let's not act like he didn't have a good second half of this season last year.
He did
in the second half of the year.
He did, but he's been in coaching purgatory.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing the growth and development of Bryce Young continue. He looked really good towards the end of last year.
Okay, you can't tell me that if it weren't for the fact that Andy Dalton got in a car wreck, Bryce Young would still be warming the bench.
He absolutely would have been, for sure. But he also took the reins when given to him and made the most out of it.
You can't fault him for that, though. You can't fault him for that. Not at all. I still say, even with that, I still say Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in that division.
Yeah.
I by leaps and bounds. I don't know what New Orleans is going to be doing now. I mean, are they really going to roll with Derek Carr? Really?
I don't think they want Derek Carr anymore.
Derek Carr is their best option, though.
Yeah, I mean, they really. Who's their backup? The dude who the Jake something, the fancy pictures and shit, the crazy pictures.
Yeah. But at the same, when you really break it down like that, in terms of New Orleans, what are they going to do to potentially get worse? They don't really remember. The reason I'm saying this: first two games last year, their offense looked like it was going to be the best offense we'd ever seen. Right? They blew up.
Then they blew them out.
Yeah, they blew up both of them back to back. Derek Carr looked like the runaway MVP those two games. But then they had a collapse in a tailspin. And Dennis, is his name Dennis Allen? Is that Dennis? Yeah,
it was Dennis Allen. 7 games straight losses, and he's out of a job.
I'm not saying we're going to see a resurgence from New Orleans. Don't get me wrong. But I could potentially see them being the most improved in that division.
Mm-hmm. I would still want to say Atlanta, just based on what I know of what's there, and what they could be. Because again, they're gonna have a full year of Michael Penix, where they didn't have that.
They need to be very Bijan dependent, I feel. I think Bijan's a top 5 running back in the league. And they do have a decent receiving core, Darnell Mooney, Drake London. I disagree with you with them moving on from Kyle Pitts.
They have to. They need to.
He's too talented.
But he doesn't do jack. I'm not even just talking from a fantasy football perspective. He doesn't do anything good. He doesn't block. He can't catch. He can't run after the catch either.
Is that him, or is that the system that was around him?
Arthur Smith wasn't there last year, so you can't say it was the system.
That's fair. That's fair, but who are they going to get to replace him?
Draft.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I don't foresee it happening. I think Kyle Pitts, I'm not saying he's going to get like a fucking 3-year, $250 million extension by any means, but I think they're going to re-sign. I don't think they're going to let Kyle Pitts walk for nothing.
He was supposed to be the Falcons' next coming of Tony Gonzalez. That's who he was supposed to be.
No, of course, that's far gone. That's completely out the window. But I think he can be a solid, reliable tight end if they put in the right scenario.
I take Hunter Henry over him in a New York minute.
I probably would too.
I wouldn't, just because the talent discrepancy is immensely in the favor of Kyle Pitts in that one.
Now, Penix.
I'm talking reliability. I would take Hunter Henry in a New York minute.
I get the reliability argument, but I hate throwing the word "if" out there. But if Kyle Pitts starts to put it all together,
he can't though.
Well, Penix only threw him the ball 3 times last year, so not 3 times for three games. So we'll see if he's going to improve. But I'd probably still take Hunter Henry.
It's too early to say Pitts can't put it together. You've got to give him 1.5 more seasons. I'm not going to say a full 2. 1.5 more to put it together, I think.
All right. I'm my ship on Kyle Pitts has sailed.
That's fair. I don't disagree with your logic or your point behind it. I just feel he's too talented to give up on yet.
You need a third down conversion. Who you want? If you had to choose between Hunter Henry and Kyle Pitts, I'm taking Hunter Henry.
Third and what? 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 15?
3rd and 7, or better, or worse.
I'd say anywhere between 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 6. I'd probably take Hunter Henry. Anything 3rd and 8 and beyond, I'd rather go with Kyle Pitts.
Okay, agree to disagree.
No, we're good, of course. Now, here's something that we don't disagree on, Justin. No matter the scenario in these bracket-style tournaments for college hockey, Maine needs to avoid UConn.
In every which way possible.
They are our kryptonite. They play harder than us. They want it more when we play them. I can't explain it.
They're stronger. They're faster. They have more facial hair.
Exactly. They are Iceland to us for some reason. Now, granted, I felt we outplayed them last Saturday for decent stretches.
Mm-hmm.
We had multiple chances in overtime to close out that game, and unfortunately,
the third period, there were like 3 or 4 post ringers that just barely freaking missed.
And then Maine goes and gets a penalty within the last minute and 30 seconds. And again, that's the discipline that worries me that I've been speaking about all season long.
They almost killed it off too. For all I did.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree, and I posted this in the I posted this in the actual team Facebook page. UConn is to Ben Barr that Providence was to Red Gendron. The worst matchup you could possibly have from a coaching perspective.
100% agree.
100% Red Gendron could never beat Providence, not even once. Not even close to once. He got smoked every single time. The difference is Ben Barr's squads have been able to roll with UConn. I'm not sure. I don't know what his record is against UConn as Maine's coach, but it can't be very good.
I'm not sure what it is overall, but I know this season, obviously, we're 0-2-1. No, 0-1-1. My apologies.
Oh, 1-1. Yeah.
It's not good. We struggle against this team. They have our number. It's tough to explain. I think we out talent them. I think we have more experience than them. We have
Better goalie by a long shot.
yeah, absolutely. But there's something about them that when we match up, it just goes into their favor, and that's something that we need to correct, especially come tournament time. If we do end up matching up with them, it's going to be another hell game, and hopefully the puck in our favor.
I think it's their neutral zone physicality comparatively.
That's fair, but it's not like Maine lacks in physicality.
They don't, but that's UConn's specialty.
That's fair. I don't disagree.
Maine's specialty right now under Ben Barr is aggressiveness on the forecheck as well as on the power play, on the penalty kill. That's their forte.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going through. Oh, my bad. He's like never beat UConn. He's never beat UConn, I don't think. I mean, his first 2 seasons he didn't. Last year they did 7-3. Oh yeah, because I remember watching this shit last year. UConn beat him once. Yeah, he's only beaten UConn I think one time in his career.
But again, but UConn is like the Maine's boogeyman.
Yeah, they're the kryptonite.
And I mean, I was trying to be here to talk about Michigan State. Michigan State got smoked.
Yeah, they dropped all the way to 3rd.
And
last week you were talking about switched focus here a little bit to college basketball because Ian, last week you were talking about how you think Auburn is the best team in the nation. And you would want to see an Auburn-Alabama national championship game. What
Did I say that?
Yeah. What do you think is a more likely outcome, or what would you want to see more? Duke, because of Cooper Flag, because obviously I can tell that you're a Cooper Flag fan. Or do you want to stick with your original gut pick and taking Auburn to win it all?
I don't know. Auburn's winning. Cooper Flag might get there, but Auburn's just better. They're better coached. I mean, they just beat Alabama not too long ago. I think Duke is good, but I think Auburn's slightly better. But I think Cooper Flag's going to be the best player on the court when they play. But I think Auburn's better. Slightly. I think Auburn has I trust Auburn's scoring better. Just seeing what they did to Alabama. I mean, they scored fucking 110 points on Alabama. I mean, granted, everybody scores on Alabama because Alabama scores a lot of points too. But yeah, I like Auburn.
That's fair. It's like I was telling Sean. This is my opinion with Duke and Cooper Flag, right? Being a Syracuse fan, I'm not too fond of Duke, obviously, but being the fact that Cooper Flag is a nation-born Maine kid, it makes it so I want to see him succeed and I want to see him do well. So I would like to see Duke win the national title because of him. I wouldn't want to see him struggle and have Duke win the national title. I would want Cooper Flag to be the main reason, no pun intended, that Duke holds up the title, and I wouldn't have any complaints whatsoever.
Well, I mean, to be fair, even if he struggles, I think he's still going to be a massive part. I think regardless of whether he struggles, he's not gonna just be some guy playing 3 minutes off the bench. So,
no, God, no.
His big moment would be like a Villanova win, like in the national championship, like drive down, and just check last second as a buzzer beater. Cooper Flag wins that. That'd be like,
his
they'd be
shots
partying.
He's getting he's a better shooter. Like he's getting to be a better shooter. Not there yet.
You can see improvements from his game already. No question.
And the fact that he played on the USA, what was it? It wasn't really the development team. What was it? The Olympic warm up team. What was that?
Pretty much just that.
But I mean, even the NBA players are like, this kid's gonna kick our ass.
I remember watching a story with Brian Scalabrine, right? I think he was on a podcast with Julian Edelman, actually. And they were talking about Cooper Flag. and he was telling the story about how Brian Scalabrine was running this AAU team down in Florida, and he obviously knew of Cooper Flagg. He heard of him because when Cooper Flagg was 13, guys, he was 13, right? And he was practicing with the University of Maine players, and I guess he was busting them up, like making them look silly, right? So that got word back to Brian Scalabrine. This kid from Maine is lethal. He is tearing D1 players up on the University of Maine. So Brian flies out, watches this kid practice, was like, yeah, you got it. And so he goes back to his AAU squad. It's like, I got this kid from Maine that is going to come up and bust you boys silly. And this is the Florida team in AAU. And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever. Some kid from Maine. Okay, so we'll see.
Was he playing at Nokomis High School at that point?
No, he was only, I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe so. But anyways, he goes down to Florida. The first time he touches the ball, this is from Brian Scalabrine's mouth, he goes up on the left wing, does a pump fake. His defender jumps on the pump fake. Cooper Flagg goes under him, throws the ball off the backboard to himself, and dunks it on somebody. First possession. And those guys were left speechless. I think he's going to be an all-star in the NBA.
He should be in the dunk contest.
That would be great. I would love to see that.
Him and AJ DeBonsa. Don't forget the name. AJ DeBonsa's he's the #1 recruit. He actually just signed committed to play at BYU. Apparently BYU's handing fat ass NIL bags out now. Who knows? So he's gonna be really good. I think Cooper's gonna be his jump shot. I mean the fact that he's getting more consistent with that was my biggest concern regarding him, because at the end of the day you could do and he's great with his instincts and the way he can block shots. I think he's great defensively. I think he's next level. I don't think he has much work. Probably little things, but not much work to do there. But the fact that he can shoot now is a lot better. AJ DeBonsa has really no weakness in his game either. I think he's a guy that not really anybody was talking about. So AJ DeBonsa, remember the name.
If BYU is throwing out big, if BYU is throwing out big NIL bags, is it a Book of Mormon in there as well? It's thrown out there.
Yeah. Apparently they got a thing called soaking. I didn't know it was a thing. It's like you park car in the garage and just let it sit idle. You get what I'm saying?
I understand what you mean by that. Anyways, before we get banned, before we move on to the question, boys, one other NBA topic that I want to cover with y'all. I think we were wrong about the Jimmy Butler move to Golden State. They're 5-1 since he's joined that team. The Heat are 1-5 since he left. And Golden State looks like a completely different animal.
They killed Dallas on Sunday.
Oh my God, they are beasting right now. Jimmy Butler has this weird effect. Like, remember when he was in Chicago and they went to the second round of the playoffs? Have they even been back since Jimmy left? I don't think so. When Philadelphia was there, like, Jimmy has always caused quote unquote issues, but he practices hard, he plays hard, and he makes the team they're on better. And I think this is another prime example of that. Jimmy has done some phenomenal things already in Golden State. I'm not saying that they're a contender in the West. I'm not saying, oh, we got to watch out for Golden State in the finals. But I think next year, put another piece, Steph, Jimmy, and another piece around him. I think they're going to be contenders next year.
Yeah, I mean, they're more frustrated with Buddy Hield and his clogging things up than they are with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy balled out Sunday. 14 in the first half. I think he only had 4 in the second half. And Steph, bro, he's just like, it's ridiculous.
Steph.
I love watching him, man. He's the most. I've never enjoyed watching a player more than I've enjoyed watching Steph. Like, he is the best player on the court when oftentimes, pound for pound, he's the littlest.
The thing about Steph that I enjoy watching about the most is the joy that he has playing the game.
For real. Bro, when he hit that on France, I hit it the wrong way. It's like he hit that shit on France. Dude, that shot they hit against France this past summer was insane, bro. That's basketball at the highest level. But yeah, man, He talks shit. He's a little cocky fuck, but he punches you at. He has fun with it though, man. I've never taken Steph. I mean, he's arrogant. Don't get me wrong, but it's never
But
been like.
but he has such a joy and light about him when he's playing. It's like
Yeah.
he knows he's gonna torture ass, but he doesn't like shove it in your face. He just was like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna have fun doing this because
So
I'm me.
you bringing up USA Sports just brought a memory to me, guys, and we didn't talk about it yet. I think we need to address it really quickly here. This past Saturday night, fellas, we had a chance to upset the big dog, and we brought it to overtime, and then we let the best player in the fucking world wide open on the wing, and he buried the shot.
It wasn't even on the wing. It was in the slot.
Slot, yeah, it was in the slot. You're right. Man, that was one of the most hyped for a hockey game I'd ever been. I mean, when you incorporate like country's pride into it, it just always takes it up a notch, you know. And all credit to Canada. They won like they do every time. I believe they've won 27 of the last 28 with Sidney Crosby in the lineup. That one loss coming on that Thursday before to the US, but it was a great match.
Here's the thing with that matchup, that game that night. Yeah, we lost, and I was upset. I was disappointed we lost. Don't get me wrong, because I mean, USA, but I wasn't like upset. Like this was like we played horrible. We sucked. We didn't deserve to win anything. Both teams just went off on each other, and it was probably the best pure hockey I had ever watched.
It was great.
Ever.
I 100% agree. I
mean, disappointed in the result for my team, but not disappointed in how the game was played by any stretch. Was there even one or two, like total of one penalty, maybe two penalties total in the entire game?
One.
I mean, yeah, you want to see the power play for your team, obviously, but it was not. It was a clean game all the way around. Hard hitting. The rest did swallow their whistles a few times. I'll grant them that.
I liked it though.
I liked it. I mean, let the guys play. Let them play.
What'd you think, Ian?
Man, it was something like I've never seen before. I think I told you guys before the game. Like this is so fucking cool. The miracle thing they did with Kurt Russell showing his little speech, and then they kept panning over to the. I was wondering. I was like, I know if Casey's watching that shit, he's fucking hype right now. But yeah, man,
I thought it was. Yeah, and I thought it was great that they had a Ruzioni actually come out on the ice. That was fantastic.
Oh, that got me hype. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, and they made the NHL, man. I was telling my dad about this.
All credit to them. Brilliant all-star format NHL.
My thing with them, it's like people don't watch it like the NBA because they don't know enough about hockey. It's not as popular of a sport. Product wise, I think the NHL blows it out of the water with some of the ideas, and because dude, like that four nations face off was special. Like you guys said, we might include some other nations. We can only really include a few before we get a massive drop off, and we're beating Bulgaria by 50. But yeah, man, that was fun to watch, especially with it being in Boston. Especially with us from the West Coast. For the most part, we don't like Boston. Like you guys always beat our teams in some way, shape, or form. But there was no one in the world I would rather the hockey game be in America than in Boston.
The skill, I'm not sure. I don't think they did it last couple of years, but the skills competition that the NHL has had over the years.
Oh fuck yeah! I watched it last year.
Okay, I didn't catch it last year, but the fastest skate around the ice, the slap shot. I mean, some of the competitions they have,
bro, it's crazy.
Some of the competitions the NHL has for their All-Star Weekend is just stellar. To me, in some respects, it's more fun than watching the Olympics. And the Olympics are my jam.
The NHL skills competition, there's a couple different games. Like they're like moving and they're trying to shoot at different like 3 points, like different targets.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And the NBA skills challenge, It's like, dude, those are basic. You're dribbling around a little thing. The NBA, I don't know how much more creative we can get, but NHL, the NHL, what I love is they make use of the rink. They make use of the goals. They make use of the sticks. They make use of everything on the ice.
And
The
the glass.
crossbars, the nets, the glass. Like they'll make use of everything, but it's just fun, man. Like in Vegas, bro, people are crazy about hockey, especially even with it being in the desert. But God, man, it's gonna be a fun baseball season. I'm starts in Tokyo in a few days, so we got to get into that mode. But time for the question. Can't wait. Play ball.
Sue's got the question tonight. All right. Go for it, Mr. Blackwell. What you got?
If you could trade, and this is gonna be a tough question, you might have to think about it. You don't have to trade a plethora of championships, but for one of your teams to be good right now, you have to trade one championship that one of your teams won. Which would it be?
Like, you have to trade away a championship for your team to be better now.
Okay, in order for one of your teams that really sucks, in order for them to be better, you have to act as if the past never happened. That was a terrible fucking question. All right, you know what? I
Like,
had a different one in
what?
mind. It didn't come out like I. All right, give me a second. It
Okay.
didn't come out like I intended.
I mean, I can think about that. It's like, what if you were to
No, wait.
sacrifice one championship winning year for your team to be good? Which year would you drop?
What? No, because no. Yeah, no. That's kind of I did really. Because then if I mean, don't really make.
I
All right,
mean, I
give
would
me a
be.
second.
I mean,
Because I'm thinking like if it's not gonna really make no difference. I guess it would just take away your. Okay, I guess what I'm asking, and I guess this is how I was framing it on mine. I guess I just asked it really fucked up. What memory would you do away with for to see one of your to get new memories, see one of your teams rise to success?
I don't know. That one's hard to really kind of grasp. um,
Fuck the Casey go.
I think he's having headset issues.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he'll be back. I mean, with, like, for example, the Patriots, you're gonna have all of the Vinatieri kicks. You're not gonna want to forget those. I mean, the I know everyone in LA hates me for, and California hates me for the tuck rule game.
It's just Raiders fans. I mean, the rest of the NFL, we hate you, but we. I mean, the crazy thing is, we even a lot of people side with the Raiders in that situation. For me to answer, because I know it is a bit of a complex question, for me, because it's a memory, it would probably be watching the Angels winning in 2002. I had just started
Okay.
watching baseball. It was cool to watch them win it because I did have an idea of what was going on at that point. So I was pretty
hmm
excited, but we've just sucked for so long. Like, I will give up that World Series for us to just make the playoffs again. I swear to fuck. All right. Like,
Maybe 2008 Red Sox for me, because that year it wasn't like anything specific that was like poignant for me that year in the sense. Um, I mean, yeah, I know there are a lot of Rockies fans who would love to hear that one because they were on a 20-game win streak going to the World Series and then lost four in a row.
oh,
Um,
were they? I mean, because they were.
yeah,
Oh, damn, they
they were
swept
on a
everybody
20.
in the playoffs.
They were on a 20, come on, like 18 or 20-game winning streak, and then they got swept.
Who they beat to get there? St. Louis.
St. Louis, and I want to
When
say
Houston was in the
Philly.
NL? No.
Philly, I think.
Oh, I think you're right. It was Philly. I do remember them playing. I think it was Philly. Because Philly the next year, well, because '07 is the year you're talking about. Because '08 is the year the Phillies won the World Series.
Yeah, oh 07. Yeah, 2007. Thank you. Um, that year was kind of like ho hum for me. I mean, because 2013 was the Boston Marathon year. That's the one you're not going to forget that one.
Yeah, you can't give that one.
And they won it at home too, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. I was there. Not at the game, not in game 6, but I was there for game 2. You can never trade away 04. Never.
No.
Never.
Okay. So, Ian, my apologies. I had to duck out for a second. Something wrong with my mic. What's the question? Like, what is it exactly?
So, if take your favorite sports memories. My bad. Sorry, does it? It's like I was looking down, so I didn't. And the audio was so I didn't see you talking. So, just take your favorite sports memories and consider all of your teams that suck. What great memory do you have that you would just kind of make it disappear so that your team could be good again?
Oh shit. Okay.
I said 2007 Red Sox championship because it wasn't as big of a deal for me.
What was it? Waking up after having all that Orloff vodka?
I was a freshman in college, but I wasn't at that age yet.
Because you got to think they don't suck right now. Obviously, they're going to be favored to win the title, and I can't really pick any Cowboys memories because they haven't won a championship in 25 years. I probably the 03 national title for Syracuse.
Yeah, you've watched them be pretty good at some times too, but just not.
Yeah.
Syracuse, apparently.
I've had them tremendous runs. I mean, I remember back in 2013, they started off 22-0.
And they had Brandon Trish and whatnot, I think.
Yep.
And Wesley Johnson, or maybe Wesley Johnson was before that, but Syracuse used to be they used to be pretty they used to be really good. And then Jim Boeheim, is he still fucking? I was just thinking, is he there still?
Oh no.
They're like his second year being gone, I think. Second or third year being gone. Who's coaching them?
Fuck, what's his name? His name is escaping me right now, but you're right. The Hens are gone for 2 years, and they typically don't even run zone anymore, which is weird. Watching Syracuse not run a zone defense,
Very.
But that was primarily a gym thing. But that would probably be it. I mean, because I'm not going to take away any of the Celtics titles. I'm not going to take. I guess if I was going to go Red Sox, Justin, you're 100% right. It would either be 08 or 18 as far as the titles that I could do away with.
Or 18 for me because 18 for me, no, because they won in my home state.
That's fair. I get that.
My mom got to be there for it too. She was there at game 5.
It was 07, not 08.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah, I correct. Ian correct me. It was 2007.
And I know Justin grew up with a bunch of fucking Dodger fans too.
Dodgers and Angels, and I was the only Red Sox fan of the area. Mm-hmm.
Ian, what would yours be?
What did I say mine was?
You said you traded away the World Series.
Angels World Series and
oh, okay. Just for them to be relevant again. That's fair.
We suck, man. Like, this shit is terrible. The Ducks are actually putting up a fight. But
true story. My oldest son wants to play hockey and wants to play for the Ducks.
Oh fuck yeah, that's awesome.
He wants to play for the Maine Black Bears and get drafted by the Ducks. That's what he wants to do.
Nothing wrong
tell
with
him
that.
I said.
Well, good question, Ian. Thought-provoking for sure. It's been a great show, boys. What do you say we call it?
It's so dry. But do we need a towel? I'll bring a towel. Bring a towel.
Hey, Chris. We got a new paper boy. Get your fat ass back here.
Oh, I'm so high. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, Justin, did you start watching Breaking Bad yet?
Nope, that's tonight.
You're actually going to start it tonight?
I'll start tonight. Yep.
Maxie. All right.
My ex, no, don't you forgot your lunch.
Yo, I can't do it right now. I'm already laughing too hard. So every time I try to do it, I fucking. Oh man, but good show, man. It's really a pleasure getting together with you guys in a season where there's not a fucking thing to do. But to all 5 of our viewers, we appreciate your time.
Oh, did you guys know that our show with when we talk about the college football playoff has 509 views?
Really?
The one from last year.
You fucking play. Good night, Canada. That's fucking
Good
wild.
night.
Go watch that college football playoff video, apparently.